You guys know I'm a big fan of the Glock pistols. I carry a Glock 27 as my CCW, and I rotate that with a Glock 23. Mostly it's a 27. But that's not what this is about. What do I think about the XD pistols? Specifically, what this is going to be about is the XD9 Subcompact. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features of the gun. This gun comes with a lot of safety features. You can see that it's got the very much Glock-like trigger safety, if that's what you want to call it. It also has a grip safety. Now this grip safety, a lot of people like it, a lot of people hate it. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of in between. It doesn't bother me all that much. However, if I had my preference, I'd take it without it. That being said, I have not found that to be a problem whenever I've gone to grip the gun and fire. I haven't once in the, I don't know, 5 years that I've owned this gun, 4 years I've owned this gun, somewhere around there. I have not ever had that not fire because I hadn't had that grip safety pressed. Now the top of it also has a loaded chamber indicator. So you can see that this is sitting flush right now. That's because the gun is empty. With a round in the chamber, this is going to pop up a little bit. What that offers is it gives you both a visual and a tactile feel if that chamber is loaded. Again, honestly, I could probably leave that function out of it. However, being that it's there, it doesn't bother me. I didn't ever think I would use it. However, one night I was out night shooting with it, and I did run my finger across to check it and found myself using it. This is a striker fired pistol, and one way you can tell if the slide has been racked and it is ready to fire is the striker will actually protrude from this hole back here. Right now you can't see it, it's just a flush on the back here. Now if I rack the slide, you can see that it takes that striker and it makes it poke out the back. So again, just as you have up here with the loaded chamber indicator, you have the striker that sticks out here that give you both a visual and a tactile feel if the gun is ready to be fired. Again, I could take it or leave it. It's certainly not a selling point for me at all, but neither does it detract from the gun. Slide catch and the magazine safety are in your typical positions. The slide catch sits relatively flush to the side. It doesn't protrude too much. You can see just enough. And it's got enough there with the grooves on it that it's very easy to depress and let that slide go. The magazine release is ambidextrous, so you have it both on the right and the left sides. And it does come out pretty well, especially with these stainless steel mags. The way they go in and out is very smooth. While I'm talking about it, it comes with two magazines, a 10 rounder in this case, and a 16 rounder. Now I think some of the newer ones are coming with a 13 round and a 16, but I'm not positive about that. But I believe you can get a 13 round for that. The 10 round in this case sits flush with the bottom of the gun. That's how I would recommend carrying it. But the nice thing is, as a spare mag, you can carry this 16 and it pretty much turns it into a full-size grip. See, this way, I've got about medium-sized hands. I can get all three fingers down there in the bottom. I have tried with my Glock 27 here with the extended mags because I have a Glock 23. I've tried to get the same spacer, some aftermarket, and to be honest with you, I have found nothing that matches the quality that this comes with. It's not an aftermarket piece, which I think might be part of it. This does come with a gun and it is fantastic. Let's take a quick look at some of the specs on this. You're looking at about just over 6 inches, your longest point down here. The width of the gun, this is a double stack gun, so you're going to be looking at, if I can keep it in frame here, just shy of an inch wide. Well, you know what? It's actually about an inch wide once you get down to these specs. So that kind of gives you an idea with your 3-inch barrel, 6 inches overall and about an inch wide. Gives you kind of a quick idea of some of the lengths and specs on this gun as far as measurements go. One aspect I like about these XD subcompacts is the opportunity to put something on the end of your barrel. For example, I do have this little light. It is an older light, and there's better lights out there on the market right now, but you can see that it will take a flashlight. And honestly, I haven't looked into any lasers, if there's any lasers available for this, but if you've got a light that'll fit this, I'm sure there's going to be a laser that will fit this as well. Let's discuss that trigger pull. You'll hear a lot of people talk about the XDs saying that they have kind of a spongy trigger. Well, yeah, I'd agree with that. The trigger is a bit spongy. That being said though, I really don't mind the trigger all that much. It does have some take up and then it breaks. Not a lot of over travel on this. But where it breaks, I find it's a nice crisp break, and overall the movement of the trigger is nice and smooth. I don't feel it's gritty like I have on some other guns, some actually more expensive guns that I just barely shot. With this trigger, and as small as this gun is, I find it amazingly accurate. I have a lot of fun shooting this gun. Personally, I control the recoil on this very well also, and in general I think most people will. For its size, it doesn't give you a lot of kick. Field stripping of the XD. Drop your mag, lock your slide back. Of course, we've already made sure this was empty off camera. All we're going to do is rotate this forward, or up I should say, and then we're going to ride that slide back to the home position. Now you'll notice I can't get it off, and that's because I have to pull the trigger. Once we release the sear on that slide will come right off. Recoil spring will come out, and the barrel pops out. And that's it. So as far as simplicity goes of breaking it down for the needs of cleaning it, that's it. And we'll throw it together. In opposite, function check, and we're back up and going. Personally, I like the ergonomics of this gun. It's got a 1911 style type grip, or at least the same angle. Serrations on the slide, they're not as aggressive as I've felt with some, but certainly they give enough purchase to get that slide back, and I don't have any issues with them at all. Trigger guard squared off in the front. The back has some kind of molded checkering with some striations near the grip safety, as well as the front has some checkering. These really are not that aggressive. If you've ever held an XDM series, that's going to have a much more aggressive texture than the XD series do. In fact, I find this to be quite slick. If this were my normal carry gun on an everyday basis, then I would definitely do this with it. I've just put some skateboard tape on my Glock 27. And personally, I like aggressive grips. Some people don't, but to me this needs a little bit more. So I would add some of that grip safety to this, again, if it were my normal carry gun. Sights on the little XD here is your 3-dot variety. I'm kind of partial to the 3-dot myself. I like that quite a bit. I like it better than the stock sights the Glock come with. I don't like the little field goal, that's what I think of it as, sights in the back. So 3-dot variety, yep, I'll take it. Now, actually while we're talking about the Glock, let's take a look at a little bit of size comparison. Now, again, this is a little bit apples and oranges, but it'll give you kind of a base to look from, because this is a 40 caliber Glock where this is a 9mm XD. But one thing to note on these XDs is they're going to be a little bit longer in the handle than the Glocks are. So this is an area that tends to print most often when you're carrying concealed. We'll get to that in a minute. So you do have a little extra hanging out there. And let's just throw this Glock mag in so you can kind of get a better look. So it's not too much. It's not too much, but it is a bit longer down there. But overall, for a concealed gun, I like this quite a bit. It's not bad. You do have a thicker gun to conceal, which can be difficult if you wear certain clothes. However, what you get with that is that double stack, so you're going to get 10 rounds, where with the thinner gun, you have better concealability, but you give up round count. So it's something to think about, something to consider. One thing I really like this when I have carried it concealed in the past is the 10 rounds you have in here carried with the 16 rounds extra. So just with those two things alone, even though you've got such a small gun, you've got a nice 26 rounds sitting with you ready to go. One area these XDs fall a little bit short is the weight department. This is coming in at about 26, 27 ounces, where the Glock 27 I have comes in about 19 ounces, I believe. 19 to 20 ounces, if I've got that wrong, I'll annotate it. So it is a little bit heavier than the Glock counterparts. So that's something to think about and consider. Another aspect that is very important to me is the finish of the gun. Not necessarily what it looks like as much as what it's going to look like in 2 years or 3 years down the road. The XD is, they've got a melanite finish on them, which I'm told is about the same thing as how Glock finishes theirs. Now, I've had my Glocks in a lot of adverse weather and haven't had any problems with them. I haven't had the XDs in quite as much adverse weather. However, over time you can see that the finish on this has held up well. One thing I have noticed though are the pins. I've got them cleaned up now, but the pins I noticed started to rust just a little bit, but I've since taken care of that and it wasn't too bad to deal with. Am I happy I purchased this gun? Absolutely, without question. It really is a joy to shoot. It's a very smooth shooting gun. Despite the little higher bore axis that you might find on some other guns, the recoil for me is very minimal in this size of gun. I don't find it bad at all. Some of the safety features I could do without them, but they're not a showstopper for me, as they've never been a problem to this point. And again, I've owned this gun for about 4 to 5 years, maybe even longer. Overall, I've been very happy with this gun. In fact, so much so that I have purchased an XDM to follow this up. This one specifically, I can't tell you how many rounds I've put through this, thousands of rounds, and I have not had one failure at all, even during the break-in period. So this has been a fantastic gun for me. I've enjoyed shooting it, and you know what? I'm probably going to have another XD in the line soon. We'll see how that goes, but my point being is that I've had a lot of fun with this gun. I've enjoyed it, so I wouldn't hesitate buying another XD, XDM, XDS, something like that in the future. So really like it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review. It's been a while since I've done a gun review. Nice gun.